Hi everyone, my name's Brianna. I'm doing my first review on Life, the Canvas article, Life Without Fathers or Husbands. After reading that article, it was actually super interesting because I have never thought that I shouldn't say life without like people can't function without marriage, but I guess open marriage or open relationships, and being able to function and everyone being cordial. I didn't think that ever existed in anywhere. So that was super interesting, and overall I thought it was pretty fascinating, and there's no jealousy within people, and people can have multiple partners. So I thought it was super intriguing. The first question: amongst the Na, what are walking marriages, and how do their kinship systems allow for the lack of formalized unions? The walking marriages are when the men will walk over to the woman's house in the middle of the night. Women are allowed to say no and decline respectfully, and so are the men, vice versa. But the relationship of the man and the woman, the man visiting, can go on from anywhere to one night to years. So that is the walking marriages. Their kinship system allows for the lack of formalized union because their societies is matrilineal. So it works because the guy will go back home to his mother's house, and the girl will stay at her mother's house. So everyone understands the role, and the men will take care of the sister's children because that's where their family ties are. The male's family ties aren't necessarily with the woman he has a walking marriage with and her family. So the women that the man is visiting takes care of the children, while the male takes care of his sister's women's side of the family. So that's kind of the role everyone understands and knows. How does the example of the Na highlight some of our basic assumption about the purpose of marriage and what American core values surrounding marriage are threatened? The Na, it's completely different to what our society or what America kind of has the standard for, or I shouldn't say standard, cultural norm for marriages. We as Americans often see people getting married, a man and a woman, and then having children, and then having raising the children together, although that is not always the case. The Na is completely opposite. So like I said before, it's like an open marriage, open relationship. So the man can go to multiple women, and the women can actually have multiple men come over in one night. Why is it threatening to some people within the U.S. to accept other kinds of unions? I think people are set in their ways. I think it comes down to like maybe religion. People believe that a man and a woman are meant to be together. I think we've evolved a lot as a society to accepting other kinds of relationships, men and men and women relationships, and so on. I think that people look or frown upon that and don't think it's right, but in all reality, I mean, in my opinion, love is love. Marry who you want. What do you think will cause core values to change? I think just being more open as a society and accepting people for who they are. I mean, if people want to love and who they want to love, or be in a certain kind of open relationship, to me, I think of it as, who cares? Let people do what they want to do, what makes them happy. If it's not hurting me, if it's not hurting you, I think people just need to remain open-minded, and, you know, and we'll continue to evolve as a society and be more accepting of people and what they like or whatever. To me, it doesn't really affect me. If someone's not directly hurting me, I do what you want. I think we've come a long way, though, in America for accepting, you know, different kinds of relationships people have. And yeah, so that's my take on life without fathers or husband. Thank you. For my second article, I chose to read Article 19, When Brothers Take a Wife. I found this article also to be super interesting and different than what we are used to in America today. I may have heard of something like this throughout history classes, but never really gotten into depth about these kind of marriages. According to the article, what economically supports polyandry for Tibetans in rural Nepal? So what economically supports them is having brothers marry the same woman. It ensures that all their land and all the family's inheritance stays in one family, rather than being spread out and then the portions being smaller and smaller. It allows families to remain tight, and all their animals and their farm, everything to stay kind of as it is. Even for a younger brother, the younger brother can stay, but if he chooses to leave the family, leave the marriage, it is harder for him to create a new life, because he will get little to nothing of his inheritance from the family and the marriage. So if a little brother chooses to go and find his own wife and start over, essentially, it'll be very hard for him, because he will have to buy his own animals, find his own land, and there was very limited land where they were residing. What are the Tibetan core values around the purpose of marriage? I think their core values, I don't think it was really about intimate love and connection. I think it was just about primarily keeping the family together, and the land and the crops and the animals, and passing that down for generations. I don't think their marriage looked similar to how ours is in America. How are the core values as values as to the purpose of marriage different in the U.S.? Why do you think they're different? Well, they're very different. I think that their marriage, like I said, is more about passing on inheritance and keeping the land, whereas marriage in the U.S., it's about connection, getting to know your partner on a deeper level. It's usually just a man and a woman, or a woman and a woman, and a man and a man, although there are cases of open marriages and multiple people in one marriage. But I actually don't know if that's legal, so don't quote me on that. I don't know if multiple people are allowed to get married into one union. So, but there are relationships that do have multiple people in them, like 3 or 4. So I think it's very different. I think us in the U.S., we find someone that we love and we connect with, and we make vows to be with that person for the rest of our lives, whereas their marriages are strictly based on passing their inheritance and land down. If it works for other cultures, it works for other cultures. Even if it works for people in the U.S., that's great. But yeah, that's my take on Article 19. Thank you very much.